Well, for weeks, President Trump has been ridiculed for his claim that the Obama administration may have monitored his communications, and he still hasn't provided proof of that. But today, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes revealed that there is evidence, some supporting the president's claim. Watch this.
What I've read seems to me to be some level of surveillance activity, perhaps legal, but I don't know that it's right, and I don't know that the American people would be comfortable with what I've read. But let us get all the reports.
The president was correct in what he tweeted.
It is possible. I recently confirmed that on numerous occasions the intelligence community incidentally collected information about U.S. citizens involved in the Trump transition. Details about U.S. persons associated with the incoming administration, details with little or no apparent foreign intelligence value, were widely disseminated in intelligence community reporting. I have confirmed that additional names of Trump transition team members were unmasked. None of this surveillance was related to Russia or the investigation of Russian activities or of the Trump team.
Was the president also part of that collection, his communications?
Yes.
They were.
So wait, excuse me, let me just clarify. The President of the United States' personal communications were intercepted as an incident.
I think we have to, I think what we have to, when we talk about intelligence products here, we got to be very careful. From what I know right now, it looks like incidental collection. We don't know exactly how that was picked up, but we're trying to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so the President of the United States' personal communications were collected in incidental collection, not in specific targeted ways.
It's possible. We won't know until we get the information on Friday, and that's why. Look, I think the NSA is going to comply. I am concerned. Yet we don't know whether or not the FBI is going to comply.
Chairman Nunes then went to the White House to brief President Trump on the information he'd received before discussing it with other members of the Intel Committee. Nunes spoke with reporters again, this time on the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue.
Why is it appropriate for you to brief President Trump, given it's his own administration or campaign associates that are a part of this investigation? Doesn't it appear to be interference in some form, or have the potential for that?
Because what I saw has nothing to do with Russia and nothing to do with the Russia investigation, has everything to do with possible surveillance activities, and the president needs to know that these intelligence reports are out there, and I have a duty to tell him that.
Well, Senator?
Well,
yes, indeed. What an afternoon.
It's just remarkable. Frankly, I don't know exactly where to begin, except I don't know what incidental could actually mean.
As you know, yesterday, in another diversionary tactic, a deflector-in-chief created some kind of a scenario where he either duped or the chairman of the committee was a willing stooge. He committed a stunt with the White House yesterday, raising questions about Chairman Nunes' impartiality.
Finally, I guess the question has been answered, but it should come out. Is this normal when you have this kind of intercept? There was obviously someone, at least from gathering or surmising from all this information, in Trump Tower who was under surveillance, and there must have been some incidental collection. But does this happen if you're in a building or in a place like this and someone's under surveillance? Because you don't want to leave an impression in the public's mind that somehow or another this was intentional, when clearly it was not.
You've served in Congress, you've been on committees for a long time. Was it appropriate for Nunes to rush over to the White House and brief the White House and the president on this before even briefing his own committee, especially his ranking member?
I certainly wouldn't have done that. That's for him to explain. But Senator Whitehouse and myself have been conducting an investigation in the Judiciary Committee. We try to work together. We talk to each other. We sign letters together. Senator Burr and Warner have got a good relationship. So I find that a bit odd, quite frankly. But at the end of the day, I don't see any evidence from this story that the Obama administration had the Trump administration surveilled, that they were being followed or wiretapped. What is odd about this story is that there's incidental collection going on between members of the transition team and foreign governments. And my question is, how routine is that? And as a member of the Senate, can I feel comfortable talking to a member of a foreign government knowing that my conversations are going to be private?
Wow. And it's not what Trump said about him being tapped directly, but apparently what has happened here is a couple of diplomats who can be legitimately wiretapped were talking about meeting with Trump or people on his transition team. And of course you can learn all kinds of things from diplomats gossiping, because that's what occurs. Under the rules, and they're pretty strict, you are supposed, it's called minimization. You don't name the American person who is being discussed. And there are 20 people in the intelligence community, for intelligence reasons, can say, okay, we need to unmask or take the minimization off of these names. But the idea that there was intelligence value here is really thin. It's, again, down the middle. It's not what Trump said, but this could be criminal on the part of people who decided, oh, let's name these people.
So first of all, I guess just a direct question, was President Trump picked up himself in this incidental collection, or was he not?
In the reports that I reviewed, it does appear like incidentally he could have been picked up. Okay, so until we actually get these reports and get an explanation from the appropriate agencies, we won't know the answer to that. But clearly, there is a lot of information in the reports that I've seen, which were dozens, that would lead me to believe that the last administration and numerous agencies had a pretty good idea of what President-elect Trump was up to and what his transition team was up to and who they were meeting with. And you know, some of this is, I think, legitimate collection, but some of it, I think it bothered me enough that I went over to the White House because I think the president needs to see these reports for himself.
So that's a big, important issue, and I want to focus on that. But let me just dispense of one thing. President Trump said that he felt somewhat vindicated by what you told him today. Just to be clear, there's still no evidence that President Trump himself was wiretapped.
That is correct. That is correct.
What would you say to Democrats out there on Capitol Hill who say it looks like maybe you're trying to give President Trump and the White House cover for this falsehood that he told a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, well, look, I said the day after or 2 days later to all of you that I was quite confident that President Obama did not order a wiretap on Trump Tower. However, I have said for a long time that I was worried about incidental collection because we knew that was already an issue of possible incidental collection and the unmasking of a name. I have been very clear with the press on this, and I was provided several intelligence documents that clearly show that President Trump and the transition team were included in these reports that were disseminated widely in the last administration.
Made clear to our viewers and listeners is that, look, this is the inauguration represented the beginning of his second term.
Yes.
But it also represented the countdown of the end of his presidency.
That's right.
And the reality is, like anything else, you better get what you can while he's there because, look, come 2016, that's it.
Well, you know, I don't know, and I think some people are missing something here. The president has put in place an organization that contains the kind of database that no one has ever seen before in life. That's going to be very, very powerful, and whoever...
In terms of the Organizing for America that he's now shifting to become a 501c4.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. And that database will have information about everything on every individual in ways that it's never been done before, and whoever runs for president on the Democratic ticket have to deal with that. They're going to have to go down with that database and the concerns of those people because they can't get around it. And he's been very smart. I mean, it's very powerful what he's leaving in place.